Hello, everybody, and welcome to the art stream.
Couscous!
Oh yeah, Mikella made couscous. She's very proud of it. She should be. It's delicious, but I can't really eat it because I had just had a Soylent shake immediately before, so I might be semi overstuffed right now. Give me 1 second to finish making sure my Tumblr peeps know we are streaming. And now, with that done, and everybody informed, we can start on this stream today. Yay. I'm sorry, there was no stream on Tuesday. I had kind of really messed up my wrist the day before. My fault. I'm sorry. I was doing something stupid. I won't go into details. But I really messed up my drawing hand. And I can't draw with my left hand. So, I mean, I am kind of ambidextrous. It's just I can't write or draw with my left hand. I can do a lot of other stuff with my left hand, though. So, like, I tend to cut more with my left hand than anything else. Because I went through training for that. Anyway, so today what we're doing is I'm going back to work on a couple of old projects that were, kind of, very important to me. I really liked them. They were something I enjoyed doing, so, we're gonna go back and work on those today, so, yay! So here we go. First I'm gonna zoom out and let you guys see it. So this is something I worked on. I've worked on a stream before, but I wanted to go back and finish it because I kind of really liked the idea of getting this finished, and I keep looking at it in my art folder and being like, I should really finish that. So yeah, I'm gonna finish it. And this is a lot different from the stuff I normally do because, what the hell are you doing?
I'm scraping the couscous off the bottom.
Oh, okay.
That's how much I love couscous.
Okay.
I will eat slightly overcooked couscous.
Got it. Okay, so, what was I saying? Right,
Sorry, I'm making so much noise.
it's fine, it's just amusing to me.
It's couscous!
Oh my god.
Best thing in the world, in my opinion.
Oh my crap. Okay, so, basically, this is, based off of, no! Crap! I always do that. I press turn off console instead of turn off controller. My bad. That was my bad. I'm sorry. I can't see the chat right now.
Well, you don't need to apologize to them because they can't see what you're doing.
Yeah. I accidentally turned off the chat, so I can't see you guys if you're typing something.
Nobody talk.
Nobody.
Nobody's. Or alternatively, talk all you want because Red won't be able to see it.
Yeah, or stop you. I mean, I couldn't stop you anyway, but yeah. All right. And there it goes. It's just Wisebot. Alright, so, anyway, it's based off of a dream I had once that, was very peaceful and very vivid, and I've been using it basically as my happy place ever since then, so, yeah. It's one of my favorite original characters enjoying my happy place. And
I want to see what your happy place looks like.
Yeah. And, like, it's so funny because, like, I know people, like, use happy places as, like, you know, to basically be, like, you know, oh, haha, but I kind of use it for my therapy because what my psychologist actually taught me is that your brain can't think about two things at once. Like, you can multitask. Your brain can't, at least not in the higher functions. Like, lower functions like breathing and blinking and that kind of thing, which your body just does by reflex, and requires no thought.
those things it can multitask on, but your brain can't multitask on, like, basically what is in your brain at the moment. So if you start to feel yourself getting overwhelmed with anxiety over, like, a fear, the best way to stop yourself from completely panicking over it is to literally put yourself in another place. And you have to do that, and it takes practice. Lots and lots of practice. It took me at least 4 months to get it down properly. But basically what you do is you picture yourself in a place that's very calm and very peaceful and that you feel content or happy in. And you start off that process not by immediately going to that place that you feel content and happy in, but by remembering a moment where you felt gratitude, which for me was really, really hard because I don't have a lot of memories of people doing things for me just out of the goodness of their hearts.
That's awful.
Yeah, right?
You need to find better friends.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not just friends, but yeah, like, I had a real time, I had a really hard time doing that initial part of my therapy, with my therapist, because it took me at least a week to finally remember even just one instance, where I felt honestly grateful because someone had done something for me. Like, because a lot of the times in my life, it's been someone has done something for me, but it comes with strings attached, or it comes with some other feeling. So feeling gratitude for me was very much something that also caused me no small amount of anxiety, because I'm like, is this going to come with strings attached? Am I going to have to, like, make this up to somebody later? You know, so times in my life where I felt true gratitude because somebody did something for me, no strings attached, were very rare. So it took me forever to actually, like, come up with, you know, a sensation of gratitude. But once I got to that, then it became a lot easier because I already had this dream that I like to go back to, you know, when I'm feeling really anxious, and that actually helped me to form this kind of, like, content scene that I could go to, or, you know, a happy place. So my happy place is basically a place that is filled with water.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dream I had was basically I was on this, like, wooden boat on a very peaceful, very calm, like, river or lake or something. Not an ocean, because oceans rock, and I get sick. But more of a lake, and the boat took me to this little hut, like, immediately into the hut, and the floor was kind of this really soft moss, and there was this, like, pool bath bed thing, because I've always been able to really easily fall asleep in water. I don't know if that's because I'm a Pisces or what. But that's probably where I feel the most calm, is actually in the water, despite the fact that I get seasick really easy. Boats make me feel seasick. But being in a tub or in a pool, it's very easy for me to just immediately float and just go to sleep. So, because I learned to swim when I was, like, 2. I mean, my whole life, there's pictures of me when I'm barely a few months old in a watermelon bathing suit. With the rest of my family, back when my mom and my dad lived in an apartment, because we didn't move into the new house until I was, like, 6 months old. Yeah. My mom likes to say, yeah, it was great for all of, like, 3 months, and then your dad died and left me with a crap ton of debt. And I was like, gee, thanks, Mom. That's a wonderful story. So, yeah, my happy place is basically, like, really lush green fields filled with, like, really soft moss, lots of, like, little streams and water, and these, like, star-shaped flowers like jasmine, because there were two things that were always a staple for my childhood home growing up, and that was the jasmine vine we had growing out front next to the front door, and the purple trumpet vine that was growing up this steeple near the front of the house as well.
Mm.
And my dad planted the trumpet vine. It was one of the first things he did after we moved in. And I always really liked that story about my dad. And so I kind of, it's weird because I always associate the smell of jasmine with the color purple, even though I know that's not how that works. Like, jasmine are white. And we also had a gardenia out front. No, it was a gardenia we had out front. It was a jasmine in the back. So, but gardenias and jasmine both have a very light, kind of strong flowery scent.
Mm-hmm.
But not in the same way that roses have a flowery scent. Because I don't really appreciate the smell of roses. They're actually not my favorite thing. I like gardenias, and I like honeysuckle, and I like orange blossoms, and I like jasmine. So I like stuff that leaves a sweet taste in the back of your nose.
Mm-hmm.
You got a little thing on your chin there.
Couscous!
Yep, you got it! So, but...
Hey, I'm at home. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'll lick my bowls clean.
But yeah, so like one of the things that I always tend to like picture in my brain for some reason is these like star-shaped flowers that smell like gardenias but are purple.
Okay.
So,
because like I'm looking at that, and my mom is more of a flower person than I am.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm still like, oh my gosh, gardening is awesome. I wish I had the motive to go and do more gardening type stuff.
Yeah.
But those actually look like chrysanthemums almost.
I do like the way that chrysanthemums look, though. So, I was actually going towards more of a jasmine. Because there is a type of jasmine that looks exactly like this, pretty much. Except not purple. Obviously not purple. Jasmine are white flowers.
Well, you know how you can fix that.
Yeah.
You take this particular jasmine flower that you've based this plant on.
Yeah.
You take a small dish right next to the
oh yeah,
base
and you
of the
fill
tree,
it with
purple water.
Food, yeah, or food dye, or water filled with food dye. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that
you
looks
cut
good.
a small slit into the side. You stick a straw in there. You stick it into the purple pot, and the water will get sucked right up, and then it'll turn purple.
Yep. All right, so I'm using a very light. And I'm using a different coloring method this time. Instead of going with my normal, here's the base color, and then here's the lighter color, and then blah, 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 blah. Because this is a watercolor, and I'm trying to keep it looking as much like a watercolor painting as possible. Because that's kind of how my happy place looks to me in my head. Is kind of this, like, very dreamy watercolor pastel thing.
Oh, speaking of watercolors, there is a person that I need to show you when we're done with this.
Okay.
Holy crap. It is amazing. And it is like magic the way she paints.
Yeah. I've never been very good at watercolors, like physical watercolors, but digital watercolors, that's another story.
Digital watercolors is Red's jam, everybody.
Yeah, I do like digital watercolors. I can do them fairly fast, too. But yeah, so it takes a different coloring technique than my usual, like, here's the base color, then here's the darker shade, and then here's the gradient with an even darker shade, with the same shade set to multiply. This is just me layering darker and darker colors on top of one another. Mm-hmm. To get the shading, and then going in with an eraser tool to create the highlights. Because
it's gonna look so pretty.
It is gonna look so pretty. So now we're gonna start on the shading. So it's just gonna be layering up of the different shades, and then erasing to create the highlights. So it's pretty much the same thing. You're still layering different amounts of shadow onto the picture, but it's a different way of doing it. Yeah. Because and the other like my other way of doing it that I normally do with the gradient tool, you know, that's just a way of doing this, but quicker, basically, and with less, and this is just a way to do it with less layers. Because this way I'm using one layer for each color, which is why I haven't combined them all yet. And the other reason why I haven't combined them all yet is because I kind of want to do this like mixy melty thing with this part of the image, because if she's underwater, this should be looking a little... Although I guess if the water's perfectly still, that wouldn't be the case. Although there should still be like a very slight distortion.
Ever so slight, I think. You are coming at it from the top down, so there is not going to be as much, I think.
Yeah, no, not that much, but just enough that it looks a little off, basically. So I was gonna go back and do that. Although I might leave it just the way it is because it looks so cool. Because that looks pretty cool. You gotta admit.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
Alright, so zoom back in here.
Oh yeah, I forgot she painted pictures with coffee. It's amazing.
It was so funny because my roommates, you know, because one of the main reasons why I switched my major from illustration to writing was because I had these roommates who had gone to art school or had art classes anyway before. Because as I don't know if I told you guys this before, but when I went to college and I started my illustration degree, which I don't have an illustration degree. I have a creative writing degree. But I initially went to the Academy of Art University for illustration. And I ended up switching my major, and it was mostly because of my roommates, because they were all but one of them was an illustration major as well. Well, no, I take that back. One of them was an illustration major, one of them was a fine art major, and one of them was, I want to say, a fashion major. I'm not sure. She was barely there. And we didn't talk that much. Brienne was cool. She was the party girl of the room. Anyway, in a very West Coast kind of way, too. I'm just gonna put that out there. Like, very much like, hey guys, want to come to this party? We're gonna have some pot. That sounds cool, Brienne. I'm gonna opt out. I'm so weird, because I was the oldest one in the room, too. Because they were all 18, and I was 19, because I'd gone to community college first. I've seen her. Her stuff is cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, but my roommates, the main reason why I ended up switching my major was because I'm like, I cared more about the story I wanted to create with the characters I was drawing, and less about how they looked when they were drawn. I mean, I do obviously care about it. It is something I want to spend time on. It's just, I cared way more about the story than I did doing the art myself, you know?
Yeah.
It was always the story behind the art that I was more invested in. And that became clear to me when my roommates would, you know, we'd be sitting at our lunch table and our breakfast table and our dinner table, because it was always the freaking same table, because they refused to go to any other freaking cafeteria. I hate the International House. The food isn't quite as good. I'm like, I know it's not quite as good, but at least it changes every day. Like, it's not the same. It's not like eating at the same goddamn restaurant every goddamn day of the entire freaking year. Which was what we were doing, with a brief interval of pizza. Oh, God. Sorry. It's just, I had to have that little bit of a rant. Seriously, guys, don't eat at the same place every day. And, oh my God, the worst part about it was, like...
Okay, and side note, if you do decide that trying to eat at the same place every day is your jam, great.
Yeah, just
switch up the menu every once in a while.
Right?
Try something new.
Like, don't subject your roommates to eating like that, too. Like, if your roommates are like, please, can we go someplace else? Please, for them, go someplace else. Because I loved you, Arya, but goddamn, your sense of adventure was going to Denny's, and that was just not my jam. I want
pie, Denny's.
Right? Like, I found a meat pie shop in San Francisco and got so excited about it.
Wow.
And their reaction was, ew, meat pies. I'm like, it's just gravy and pastry and meat. What is there not to love about this? You people are insane.
Maybe occasionally there's some vegetables in there.
You know, or in the case of Sweeney Todd, a person.
True.
Which,
oh, that is something that I found yesterday that we are going to have to watch later.
What?
Gerard Butler teaches you Scottish slang.
Oh, he was my first celebrity crush.
Aww.
Right? Anyway.
Baby Red.
Baby Red had a crush on Gerard Butler. And then used it as a way to embarrass myself in front of,
We're sorry, though, Gerard Butler, if you somehow managed to get access to this particular video. You are not the greatest of singers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like you, dude, but no.
Great actor.
Great actor.
Loved your work, but Phantom of the Opera... Get some singing lessons, dear.
Although, I do like him as the Phantom better than I like the version that's in the play.
True.
But that's because I had this discussion with Mikella before, but basically my introduction to Phantom of the Opera was not the movie and was not the play, it was the book. I started with the book. I read Phantom of the Opera long before I ever saw the play or the movie, and then after I read the book, my second way to introduce myself to it was the movie. And I was excited because I'd always heard the art for Phantom of the Opera was so great. So I'm like, clearly I'll enjoy the movie, so clearly I will enjoy the movie as well. That was not correct. I mean, I did love the movie. I really did like it. And I'm going to word this different. I thought I would love the play because I liked the movie. And the reason why I liked the movie was because, and I shit you not, I liked it because the Phantom was threatening. Because in the book, it's very much written as a horror piece. This is basically a guy who's obsessed with a girl and uses it as an excuse to kill people, and he's got a really effed up face. Clearly, from my point of view, the effed up face is less of the scary part and more the, wow, he's stalking her and he's like the age of her dad? And also that's creepy? And he's killing people, which makes it worse. So I'm like, huh. So I liked that in the movie, it was, yeah, that guy's kind of really intimidating and I believed he would kill people. But then I saw the play and the Phantom is supposed to be pathetic. And I'd never known that about the play. So when I went to see the play, I was so disappointed in the Phantom that we left. And I remember telling my mom, that sucked. What the hell was up with that shitty Phantom? And she's like...
Andrew Lloyd Webber is what happened.
Yeah. And my mom was like, that's how the Phantom's supposed to be. He's supposed to be pathetic. You're supposed to feel bad for him. I'm like, no, you're freaking not. He's a serial killer who's obsessed and stalking a woman half his age. He's not supposed to be sympathetic. He's supposed to be the villain. That was the whole point of the book.
And I think that was might have influenced my thoughts on the Phantom, because my introduction was the music first.
Yeah. And
then we went to go see the play. And then the movie came out.
Yeah.
And I read a kid's version of the book.
I have a copy of the actual one if you want it. It's up there somewhere. It should be right next to The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is basically the same story.
But anyway, because my introduction was first the music, and I had fallen in love with the music.
Yeah.
Partially because I was very jealous of Christine and how high she could hit.
Yeah.
Second soprano envy. But yeah, I had basically been like, Christine, what's wrong with you? Why can't you fall in love with the Phantom? Why do you have to go with Raoul of all people?
Right.
He's boring.
Like, and that's the
At
part.
least this man's willing to kill for you. Like, I know that's wrong, and Phantom, you should maybe consider other options, but really,
But
he
I mean,
loves you,
yeah,
Christine.
but that's always been my problem with the plays. I hate that the Phantom is pathetic. He's not supposed to be pathetic. I don't believe the Phantom of the play could get up and strangle people. I don't. He's, like, too scrawny, too high-pitched, and I'm sorry, like, he's really wimpy. I don't believe he could kill people. I don't. And I find that irritating, because he's supposed to be this very imposing, threatening figure. Like, yeah, there is that kind of pathetic feel, but it shouldn't be to that extent. And it certainly shouldn't be, yeah, that's sexy or romantic, because it's not. It so is not.
Well, this was also young Mikella's thoughts, and young Mikella had no concept of sexy.
Well, I mean, young Red was really into Gerard Butler as the Phantom. I was really obsessed with that movie. I didn't care that it didn't sound as great as it probably should have. I was like, hell yeah. Well, because, like, Gerard Butler, I was just kind of, like, coming into the idea of a type, and I hadn't accepted the fact that I was bi yet, so a lot of that was, man, I just really like burly guys, and I'm just going to ignore this weird tingly feeling I get when I looked at very imposing women as well. Like, because now when I watch that movie, I'm like, you know what? I kind of like the ballet madam. She kind of does it for me. Especially that scene where she wraps the rope around the guy's throat. I'm like, yeah. I'm still talking about the movie, by the way. Madame Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the movie. I'm severely attracted to movie Madame Jerry.
Yeah.
I like it.
She's tough as nails.
Right? I
Don't
like
mess
it.
with her.
Yeah,
Or
I like
her daughter.
Yeah, I like that. I also do like Meg. But her name is Meg, and I can't be with that. That's too close to home. I'm like, nope. But I mean, like, so yeah. And when I said that The Hunchback of Notre Dame and The Phantom of the Opera are pretty much the same story, they have a very similar theme, because the book, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, way different from the Disney movie, which I do love the Disney movie. It's one of my favorite movies from Disney.
Mm-hmm.
I love its darker themes, but it doesn't go nearly as dark as the book. And in the book, the only real difference between The Phantom of the Opera and The Hunchback of Notre Dame is in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, you have two very different villains. Because in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Hunchback is one of the villains as well. Quasimodo. Quasimodo is a villain in the book because he kills people on behalf of Esmeralda.
Well, I am glad that Disney took that out of the movie.
Yeah.
Because Heaven's Light would be very different if that were the case.
So different. No, yeah. Quasimodo in the book kills people. You actually get a hint of that when you watch Buffy, because Buffy goes over it, and it's kind of a parallel between Spike and Quasimodo, because Quasimodo doesn't have this, like, real sense of right and wrong. There's no moral center.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes him a monster. That's why The Hunchback of Notre Dame is always considered a monster book. Because it's this idea of somebody who looks monstrous and has no moral core, which was a very popular theme during that time period. I'm not saying that people who are disfigured are naturally without a moral center. I'm just saying that was a popular literary theme at the time and what they considered to be monstrous. Because that was when freak shows were really big too.
Yeah.
It was around the same time period. There was this real obsession with people who had different genetic anomalies or defects. And they're really just genetic anomalies, to be honest. Like, I don't really believe in genetic quote-unquote defects. Like, because a real genetic defect, you wouldn't live through.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a genetic anomaly. It's when DNA just is like, I'm gonna do something weird because I have all these recessive genes that I don't know what to do with. So let's do something a little crazy.
Let's see, I've got all these recessive genes to play with. Let's throw that one out, and that one out, and that one out. Ooh, let's keep these ones, though. I like these ones. These are my friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play dolls with them.
And I'm talking about that from personal experience because I got like 50 different genetic recessive traits from my family. Because when you look at my family, there's a stark difference between me and my cousins, and there's an even greater difference between me and my sister. Because I do have a half sister, which is really funny when I start talking about how I was an only child, because those are both two statements. I am both an only child, and I have a half sister.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up with just my mom. I am my mom's only kid, which means I was an only child in that comparison. And at the same point in time, I did have a half sister, but she grew up halfway across the country, and didn't move in with me and my mom until I was in middle school. And she was going to law school because she's 12 years older than me. So, we're very different people, and we look like it. Like, we do not look pretty much anything alike. Mikella can vouch for that because I showed Mikella pictures of my sister recently to explain this to her.
Mikella can verify.
Yes. I do not...
Red looks nothing like their sister.
Yeah. My sister is at least a foot taller than me, basically. She's got curly, dirty blonde hair. So, and her hair's a lot thinner than mine is because I have some super thick ass hair. Like, super thick.
Like, if we were to compare people in the movies with, or like redheads in the movies with red,
mm-hmm.
I would say if your hair were curlier and longer,
yeah,
you could become a doppelganger for Merida.
Yeah. I do have Merida-style curly, dark hair. It's really funny, though, because when my hair gets longer, it's like, I give up. This is too heavy. And basically goes flat. Because when you look at pictures of me from middle school,
mm-hmm.
I was in my Sailor Moon phase, so my hair was basically as long as it could be, because I wanted to have the really long, Sailor Moon Odango hair going on.
Put it into pigtails on the top of your head practically, and it still touches the floor.
Yeah, I wanted that. I wanted that bad. I wanted to look exactly like Princess Keiko, who nobody in the States even knew about. That's how obsessed with Sailor Moon I was. I was like, I want to be Princess Keiko. Who the frick is that? She's from Sailor Moon. No, she's frickin' not. Yes, she is!
Go watch the Japanese versions, you plebeians.
She never becomes a scout in the Japanese, the original Japanese version, though, which annoys me. Because in the comics, she does. She turns into Princess Keiko, which is great because her outfit is basically here's a tiny pair of shorts underneath a a kind of see-through skirt. And I was like, I like that. She's got shorts on. But she was the only redhead other than Molly in the series, so I really liked her, and I wanted my hair to be that long.
Mm-hmm.
And because other than Ariel growing up, there weren't a lot of redheads for me to emulate. In fiction. Because at the time, they were all kind of blonde. That seemed to be the go-to in the 90s, was blonde.
Yeah.
Blonde and brunette. Because you had Belle, and you had...
There was Belle, there was Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. The only...
Jasmine, I think, was an outlier, but I think
yeah.
because of the setting, she kind of needed to have black hair, because if she had brown hair or even blonde, that would be freaking weird.
Yeah.
She lives in the desert, for crying out loud!
Yeah, she's from the Middle East, so, black hair. Maybe some lighter brown hair, but, her hair should be dark.
Or maybe dark brown.
Yeah. So I'm there was, so growing up in the 90s, not a lot of redheads, I mean, you had Sabrina the Teenage Witch, blonde. Buffy, blonde. Like, and I didn't really connect with Willow as much as Willow was a nerd. Willow was gay. And Willow was, I don't know. There was a lot of things I could have easily connected with Willow, but I think because she was so shy, I just never clicked with her. Because when Willow...
You are not a very shy person.
No. Like, I'm an introvert. I'm very much an introvert. I don't feel comfortable in crowds, and I lose energy in crowds. But I'm not really all that shy. Like, maybe when I first start out, I have a hard time talking to people. But that's not really shy. I'm trying to figure out who you are as a person and how I can interact with you. And, like, also... just trying to come up with things. So I either don't talk to you at all, or I go the other route of talking incessantly. That's always my go-to. And that's more, like, because I went through all this, like, weird training when I was little. Because I went through, like, the acting classes and the dance class and debate that I won a medal for. My mom put me in a crap ton of clubs that put me at the center of a spotlight because she never wanted me to feel uncomfortable doing public speaking. Why, I don't know, but, I found it helpful.
Hoping you'd be like a senator or something, and she'd be like,
Look, that's my daughter. She's a senator.
I don't freaking know. All I know is that is what my mom did, and to be fair, it has helped me. I never feel uncomfortable speaking in a public setting. I don't. I do feel uncomfortable in public settings with large groups of people. It drains my energy like that.
Like that.
Why can't I snap today?
I think it might be the glove.
It might also be the glove.
Red is wearing the
drawing glove.
The drawing glove.
Yeah, that's what I've decided to call it. Anyway, so, like... No, yeah, so, like, I've never really had a problem with public speaking. So I couldn't connect with Willow. She was way too shy.
Mm-hmm.
So that left me with Ariel, who... Then, at the time, I didn't connect with her. I do now, which feels weird. Because I'm like, I don't really want to connect to this character, but looking back, yeah, I kind of do. I'm like, I kind of do have a lot in common with Ariel. This feels weird. I didn't want to connect with Ariel as a kid, but, yeah. And it was Ariel, and that was basically it. Willow and Ariel.
Yeah.
Like, in the 90s, there weren't all that many redheads you could emulate.
Nope.
Everybody was blonde or brunette. Everybody was dyeing their hair blonde. That was the big trend then. Like, my mom stopped dyeing her hair red in the 90s after I hit, like, age 10 or something. No, that would have been 2000. So basically, like, I think she stopped dyeing her hair when I was, like, 8.
Oh.
Yeah. Because she dyed her hair red, like, after I was born, because no one really, like, everyone kind of assumed my mom was the babysitter and not my mom. Because, like...
Well, okay, to be fair, I mean, I was... Okay, what I like to do sometimes is I like to go onto YouTube and look up, comedians.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that I've recently found again, I guess, is Wanda Sykes.
Oh yeah, I love Wanda Sykes.
And how everybody was saying how if she took her kids, her two little white children,
yeah, to
Disneyland and they got lost, she couldn't claim to be the parent. Unless she was with her wife.
Yeah. Wanda Sykes is gay?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No. This shows you how much I pay attention to celebrity news. AKA not at all. I don't really care about who celebrities are in their personal lives. I care about the roles they play. I only really care who they... Like, I only start to care when it becomes, man, you are a grade A asshole. That's the only time I start caring. Like, if you become a criminal, then I start to care.
Well, we can still like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
which feels weird because I've
We
never
don't
really
have
liked
to
him.
like his politics,
Or his acting.
but we can like him as a person.
Because the only role he ever did well was Terminator, let's be honest. Maybe Predator. Well, I mean, he wasn't Predator, but he was like the... Anyway.
Yeah, he was in Predator.
Yeah. Anyway.
Get to the chopper!
Come with me if you want to live. Like, and it's weird because I know, like, personally, Arnold's kind of a cool guy. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, as an individual, kind of a cool guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just, like, I don't really pay attention to celebrity stuff.
I only pay attention when, I want to, I think, is what it is.
Yeah.
Typically, typically when I get into celebrity news,
Yeah.
it is typically because I've seen their movies that they've been in a lot,
Yeah.
and loved them in those roles, and constantly been like, okay, well, let's find out. What new tidbit do we need to learn about this person today? And then I'll read up on them and then veer away from them for like the next, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months, maybe, possibly several years.
Like,
Most likely several years, because then I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that this thing happened, and then somebody will be like, oh no, but did you hear? And then I'll be like, what? No! I must learn about this now!
oh goodness. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I forget. I'm laughing too hard. No,
I
it's fine.
distracted you.
It's fine. I'm just so amused. Oh my god. So,
Or if they bring it up in the news.
yeah, like, if it comes up in the news, then I pay attention. Which is why I say, like, I only really pay attention to celebrities if they've really fucked up.
And typically, like celebrity news will pop up for me if I go to my dad's house and my stepmom happens to be watching, like, TMZ or something.
Yeah. I hate TMZ, though. TMZ can suck my ass. I know what I said. I know exactly what I said.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah. I don't know. So, like, what did we start off on?
Good question. Rewind.
Okay, so Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
So, Hunchback of Notre Dame, the two villains, you have, obviously the one from the Disney movie who was the actual villain.
Judge Claude Frollo.
Yes, thank you. But in the book, you also had Quasimodo, who was killing people on behalf of Esmeralda. And the whole thing about it in the book is that he has no moral center, and he's doing it because he loves her. And it's supposed to be romantic, but it's played off as really creepy because it is. And you know, she basically is reviled not only by the way he looks, but also because of his actions. You know, she tries to be compassionate to him at first, but then it becomes, yeah, but you're also kind of a murderer, so maybe we shouldn't hang out anymore. And that's kind of how the book goes, and it's so different from the movie that. Although I didn't read the Hunchback of Notre Dame book first, which I saw the Disney movie, so that probably helped the Disney movie, because I tend to not like things when they strayed way too far from the source material. Straying too far from the source material makes me irritated. God knows why. Like, sometimes I can understand why things stray from the source material. Like, when Peter Jackson strayed from the source material in The Lord of the Rings, I understood it. When he did it in The Hobbit, I got pissed. Because the difference between the straying in the Hobbit movies and the straying that he did in Lord of the Rings was anytime the Lord of the Rings seemed to go off the book script, it was only to add things from like the Silmarillion or some of the other tales, and it was to expand what you were already learning in the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And if you messed with the chain of events, it was basically because it doesn't make sense when you translated it to film. Like, there's this scene that they actually shot and is in the extended version, which I have, and is in the book, where you have this emissary called the Mouth of Sauron who comes out to taunt Aragorn and those who are there to fight Sauron at the end, in front of the gates of Mordor. And he comes out to taunt them about Frodo, and about how Frodo is dead. And in the book, you are convinced that Frodo is dead, because you haven't seen Frodo in, like, 10 chapters. So you're like, yeah, Frodo could possibly be dead. The last time we saw him, he was getting knocked out and abducted by orcs. And, like, yeah, we're pretty sure he's dead. And Sam's the one who's got the ring. That's where we leave off with Frodo. And then after the Mouth of Sauron, you find out that Sam and Frodo are heading up Mordor with the ring. But in the movie, that doesn't quite make as much sense, because we've already had Frodo and Sam appear. And they're clearly alive. So...
Which I'm not wondering if they took that concept from the Rankin and Bass movies.
What?
Because if I remember correctly, when they did Return of the King...
Yeah?
It was not necessarily it was the Rankin Bass drawing crew, because it was very much the same art style.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you see the orcs, they take Frodo, and Sam goes and saves Frodo.
Yeah.
But you don't see that until we get a whole bit with Aragorn and Legolas and all them.
Well, in the movie, they do a lot with Sam and Frodo first, and Sam has already saved Frodo by the time we get to Aragorn and everybody at the gates of Mordor.
I am curious. Have you seen those?
Seen what?
The Rankin and Bass
I have not.
versions of the Hobbit movies.
Oh wait, yes I have. Those I have seen. I like those. Those are good. There's some stuff about them that is annoying. I do like them though.
We'll talk about that later, though.
Yeah.
Maybe next stream or something.
Yeah, I love the Peter Jackson movies because they were great, and I saw them when I was like early high school.
Mm-hmm.
So they were a big part of my like, damn, this is some good storytelling in a film. and a big reason why I read The Lord of the Rings at least once every year, if not every other year. I've kind of toned down in recent years, but I used to read it once every year. And like the whole series once every year. I would start with The Hobbit, and I would finish with the Lord of the with the Return of the King, and it would be like a full month of me just reading nothing but Tolkien. I've obviously toned down since then, because I realized I can't keep doing this. I have other books to read, an insane amount of other books to read. So I toned it down a bit, but. You know, I used to read it, like, all the time. And, what was I gonna say?
Something about the cartoon book movies?
No. The other thing. Darn it? What was I gonna... Oh, right. Okay, so, like, so the difference is there when they took out that scene with the Mouth of Sauron, and just had the two armies go at it. That made more sense thematically for the movie because, I mean, we already know Sam and Frodo are fine. So it doesn't make sense to tease us like that. In the book it does, because the book was kind of like, are they alive? Are they dead? Is the ring gonna get destroyed or isn't it? Like... It makes much more sense.
One may never know.
Yeah. So, in the book, it makes sense. It's building up tension and drama, but in the movie, there's no reason for that, because we already know Sam and Frodo are still alive. There's no added tension. The scene doesn't really add anything to the narrative other than just proving Sauron's more of an asshole. Like, that's really all it does. So I can see why they took it out in the movie. It was a great scene in the book, and I do like it. And they did shoot it, and the way they shot it was great. I was like, it's such a shame they took this out, kind of, because the costume department did such a good job on the mouth of Sauron. Like, you watch it and you're like, that is fucking creepy and awesome all at the same time. Like, goddamn, go art department.
Yeah.
Like, I love costuming departments. Like, I watched that, I was like, God damn, that is some good costuming. Like, the teeth are so, like, the mouth is, like, this big. I'm basically taking up all of my nose when I do this. Like, all of my nose and my chin. It's basically, like, as big as the whole bottom half of his face. There's, like, no nose, it's just a mouth, and then this, like, weird mask thing coming down.
That is weird.
It's so weird and creepy looking, but also at the same time is kind of, like, amusing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, how the frick did the actor do this in this, like, it's not CGI, which just makes it that much better, because you're like, how the fuck did they do this?
Puppetry, probably.
Like, no, I don't think it was. I think it was a pure makeup job. Mixed with maybe a little bit of CGI effect. But it was so subtle that you're like, I don't notice the CGI effects, I'm just really drawn in by how creepy this looks. And it was done really well, and I can see why they took it out. But then you have The Hobbit, and while I was very excited for the inclusion of a female character in a story that doesn't have a lot of them, like, I can see why they had to include some of the stuff. Like,
yeah, the Fellowship is full of guys.
Well, the Lord of the Rings is full of guys, and they tried their best to pull in female characters from the book, and as well as they could, and they did very well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's even fewer in The Hobbit. The Hobbit has, like, none. Except for when you include some stuff from the Silmarillion and some of the other tales.
We need female representation, or else the feminists are going to have our heads.
Yep. So they pulled in Galadriel, which I'm like, that makes sense. I like that. And they made one of the elves a woman, and I was like, I like that. That is a good inclusion. You're taking a character that didn't have a lot of development in the book and making them female because, well, you can. And I liked that. I thought that was good. Making it a romance option was not my favorite part. I was like, you could have just had her as a female option. You didn't have to have it be a romance. The added romance bullshit made me really upset. I was like, that's the wrong way to go off book for a movie narrative. I miss the old way of them doing Peter Jackson doing it. Like, I honestly got really agitated about that. I was like, no, she didn't need to be a romance subplot.
But he's woman. Woman need man to prove that she a woman.
No, god damn it! Like,
I'm assuming that's how he talks.
No.
And how he thinks.
No, he's from New Zealand.
Shh. Let me have my dreams.
Anyway, making the elf guard captain female, good decision. Making our elf guard captain female guard captain in love with dwarf, who she meets for like 5 seconds. That's where I'm like, no. How about no?
No, definitely not.
Right? Like, The Lord of the Rings does not need a romantic subplot. It really doesn't. And if you're gonna include one, definitely don't include one between the elf and the dwarf. Like, I don't need it. Like, it's neat that we're trying to, like, do the thing, but could we not do the thing? I would rather we not do the thing. Like, and the other part about it was like, I was more annoyed that we had a female character and was like, the female character has to have a romance subplot. Because they're otherwise, you know, because you have Bard's 2 daughters who I like. They're female daughters. They're screaming but still trying to get away and like kicking stuff. And I'm like, see, that's a believable female character. You're screaming, but you're still kicking. Like, I don't know how to fight, but I'm gonna kick and scream like I do. Like, I like that. I don't feel like all female characters have to be kick-ass and hardcore and badass and stuff. You know, there's a lot of women who don't know how to fight. They just don't. And that's believable. Not all women have to be badass. And not all female characters in stories have to be badass. It's an unfortunate trend in storytelling and writing, especially with movies, that people have kind of fallen into. It's a trope, and it's not one I like. Because, see, here's the thing. When you're like, we can only have strong female characters, you kind of write yourself into a hole. You know, you run out of this... You run into these cliches of, like, only strong, independent female woman who need no man. Or, strong, independent female woman until she meets a man. You know? That kind of thing. And then it becomes cliche very, very quickly. And that's where I tend to fall out of love with that whole thing. You can have a character who's well-rounded and female, and even weak, and still be a good character and a good representation of women. I mean, there's plenty of examples.
The gal who destroys the...
Ring Wraith?
Yeah.
She's great. I love her. She's amazing. She's my mom's favorite character, and I can see why. I love Eowyn. Eowyn is great.
Man.
Right? I am no man. And she has kind of this, like, soft tone to her when she kind of has this, like, romantic interest in Aragorn. It doesn't go anywhere. It's a kind of like, well, it's an option, you know, and it's neat, but it doesn't go anywhere. And in the book, she does get together with Boromir's brother Faramir. So I kind of like that, but at the same point in time, I'm like, and I loved its inclusion in the movie. I thought that was great, but you know, I need more female characters who have depth beyond I am a strong female woman.
I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man.
Yeah, I need more beyond that. You know, in like character arcs and stuff. You need more beyond just strong woman. Jessica Jones, for instance, that is a very well written, strong female character. She got issues. But that's the whole point of her character, is she's literally strong. But goddamn, she got issues. And she's well-rounded. I like that about her. You know, there is some vulnerability. She has fears. They're addressed. I like them. They become a part of her narrative. I like that. That's what makes me like that Netflix series so much. But then you have Elektra from the Deadpool series, and then I just get annoyed. Like, all over again. I'm just like, God damn it, Elektra. Because, like, everyone loves to tie her freaking story in with Deadpool, and I'm like, you know, Elektra has, like, at least 50 things she does on her own in the comics without ever once being associated with fuck all Daredevil. And
Elektra did have her own movie at one point.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah, it was okay. But I'm talking about, like, Netflix series right now. Like, Netflix series, they go the route of tying Elektra to Deadpool and then having no freaking storyline besides her freaking stupid connection to Daredevil. I keep saying Deadpool. I don't mean, like, I meant Daredevil. And they're both in red. They're both D something. Like, I just, cause, and it's not like she doesn't have character development besides Daredevil, but her story is so tied to his that it gets annoying because of, like, she could so have a different, like, there could be different motivations beyond, but man, we could do things together. And I'm like, no? You're a badass freaking ninja. Just do badass freaking ninja things. Why need man? Don't need man. Could do things without man. Is option. Just look at Jessica. Jessica's like, fuck all of this. You people are idiots. And then acts on that. And that's why I love Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones is awesome. Oh, I don't know. I do. There's a lot that I love about the Netflix series. There's things I also don't like about the Netflix series, but there's a lot that I do like about it too.
I have not watched the Jessica Jones TV show.
We gotta watch it. It's so good.
I have heard though
Yeah.
that David Tennant plays the villain.
Yep.
And does an excellent job
Such a good job
at being a villain.
He really does. It's just he's so good at it, and
I
you're just
did
like,
get a taste of how he sounds.
yeah.
Because there was I guess he went on to a talk show in Britain somewhere.
Yeah.
And basically they were like, "Oh my gosh, I love you and Jessica Jones. Can you say like Trump is going to get me in that voice?" And he does. And it is quite humorous.
I loved David Tennant's portrayal of God damn it, I can't remember his name.
The bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy.
I'm sure we'll learn his name once we...
I'm sure I'll remember it in like a little while, and then I'll just be mad that I couldn't remember it on stream, and I'll just be like, God damn it. Yeah. So I'm almost done. I'm just trying to do some shadows here for our butterfly.
Butterfly.
Well, more of a moth, really, because the whole reason why I included the moth in the first place is because in that weird dream I had that led me to creating the
picture here?
Yeah. That led me to create the happy space.
Mm-hmm.
My happy place. When I had the dream, there were big lunar moths everywhere.
Oh.
Because I do love lunar moths. I find them to be absolutely beautiful. Like, and you know, like symbol wise, lunar moths do kind of represent dreams and sleep and that kind of thing, and I've always had a really big, like, really strong connection to my own dreams, so
Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah. Crap. I can go back and erase it later, I guess. Just gonna trying to create more shadows here. Yeah. What do you think? Look good?
Yeah.
Good. Alright, so now I can go in and gently erase. I tried to leave some green on the log, because
I will say that I did find this thing, and when I was watching the small bits of Hobbit
Yeah?
that I've watched,
Yeah?
it made perfect sense. This makes this thing that I found on Pinterest made perfect sense.
What is
Bard looks more like Orlando Bloom than Orlando Bloom looks like Orlando Bloom.
It's true!
And they have a picture comparing Bard with with Bloom when he was in the Pirates movies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, I can see why I mistook him for Orlando Bloom when I first saw him.
Which is so funny because he's in a scene with Legolas, who's played by Orlando Bloom, which is just fucking hilarious.
Which was the response to that picture.
Yeah.
And the quote underneath it, or the text underneath it says, "Here we see a man who looks like Orlando Bloom talking to Orlando Bloom, who does not look as much like Orlando Bloom." And then I found this one. You
look like my son when he went through his pirate phase. Oh, so good. So good, man.
So yeah.
So
Fun things you find on Pinterest.
yeah. So I think I'm almost done. In fact, I actually
Yay!
think I'm gonna finish it there. What do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
That looks beautiful.
Yes. Well, I still got one more thing to do because I want to continue to refine this thing. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to change the color of my lines from the sketch. Oh, right, I got to actually be on the layer. I hate that. That's like the one thing I can't stand about Manga Studio. it's something that like severely frustrates me is that I have to like go in and actually be on the layer to pick the goddamn color. Alright, so what I'm doing now is on a layer that's linked to my line art layer, I'm going in and changing the color of my lines so that they blend.
Matches.
Well, so they blend the image a bit better.
Mm.
So
I am going through all of my dragons from Flight Rising.
yeah,
Because
Mikella.
my dragons are beautiful.
Yeah. Mikella and I are both on Flight Rising. And we both severely enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
I in particular really like my dragons. I went with Arcane, so I've got was it Mirror? That's what they're called, right?
No.
No?
If I remember correctly, the Arcane is supposed to get either Fae or Guardians.
I thought no, but I thought I have Mirror Dragons. Don't I have that?
You probably do.
You're on my friend list. You can check.
Oh, friend. Oh, friend. I know for me, I've got one from each of the different
Yeah.
dragon races.
Like, it's not that I don't have, like, more dragons. It's just, like, those are my main set.
Yeah.
That might not be dark enough.
Well, yep. I guess your first dragon is a mirror dragon.
Yeah. Told you.
I didn't doubt you. It's just like, because I know with me,
Yeah.
I had the option of picking either a Fae or a Guardian dragon when
Okay.
I signed up. But, maybe times have changed.
What am I doing? I can just pick the freaking green myself. What am I doing? No! God damn it! Every time. Gotta be on the right layer. Fuck. Oh, god damn it. I screwed up. I need to be on this
So
layer.
yeah, I have a pair of dragons, one from each of the different dragon breeds.
Yeah.
Because I'm weird like that.
So basically what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that my lines blend a little bit better with the colors I picked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so stark, here's black.
I mean, for some things, that's probably a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to, like emphasize.
Yeah. But other times, like for instance, right now,
This is supposed to be soft, genteel,
going for
calming and relaxing.
Yep. So I want to go with more of a gentle color mixture. That is what I am doing. Plus, it helps me really emphasize that difference between the portion of her that is underwater and the portion that is not. Because now it is clearly obvious which one is which.
Yep.
Okay, and as for brown, we're gonna go up here. Take that. Okay. That needs to be even darker. There we go. Basically, this just hopes to make the image look a little more organic as well. I might need a bit of that to be darker. Let's go. Yep.
These two babies are gonna be beautiful.
Look, two babies.
These babies.
Aw, them is so cute. Yeah, you did give me one of those chubby dragons.
Yeah.
Mikella gave me this, like,
Snapper dragons.
yeah, and it's like, they look so chunky, it's great. And
They're so cute.
mine's like pink and mine's like this like tan, this combination of like super tan and like, I almost want to call it like this like kind of tannish purple. And I fucking love it because you look at it and you're like, why is it so bad? And it's so cute, and I named it Sweet Cream. Its name is Sweet Cream. How cute is that? Oops.
Ooh, these ones are gonna be pretty. Look at these ones!
Ooh, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah!
She's showing me her dragons. I'm sorry.
Well, possible dragon offspring.
Yeah. These cuties. I like them.
Yesterday was Valentine's Day, so all
Yep.
of my dragons are gonna make babies now.
Fun times.
I do like my two bog sneak dragons.
Yeah.
And them making babies. Because they make beautiful babies! They're so pretty!
Alright, what do you think so far that I've,
Ooh.
since I've changed some of the line colors?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. You can definitely tell what is in the water and what is not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to create kind of this, like, very organic feel to the whole thing. Because I want it to feel very much like it is a very natural setting.
Damn. My Imperial dragons make cute, beautiful babies too. Look at these things!
Imperial dragons are cool. I do like them.
They're so pink!
I have a couple of Imperial dragons. I like mine. They're adorable. Okay. And now for the final thing, we're just gonna go in. Oh, right, I still gotta do the purple for the flowers. Oh, well. Kind of wanted to make my moth look like it was glowing anyway, so this is going to make that just a little more obvious.
Ooh,
Right?
pretty.
Yep. Because you still want the lines to be darker than the colors, but you want it to look more natural. So you just go in, take the darkest color you can get, and then darken it a little bit further. Then go in with our airbrush tool.
And paint the lines purple.
Mm-hmm.
But don't paint the roses red, or the queen will be very upset with you.
Yep. So there we go. What do you think?
Wow.
Yep. So then we're going to do this. Nope. Hmm. Yeah, that works. Okay. So then we're gonna shift, combine those two layers, and then ta-da! Multiply. So now the lines look a little bit darker. Not quite black, but darker.
Mm-hmm.
And blends a little bit better. Or
You look so pretty.
well, I'm glad you think so. Maybe overlay, maybe? No, not overlay. Holy shit. This is what happens when you play around with different filters.
What about this option? Nope, definitely not.
That looks like, that looked awful. This one, however, this one looks fine. So I think we'll stick with that. Okay, that looks good. There, and then go over top of this. I'm going to grab this in a different color. Let's go with a light kind of teal. And then because our shadows are pushing this way, we're going to start from this end and go here. We won't really see it. Oh, you kind of see it. So that's going to be multiply.
Pinkerton, why do you keep giving me more chess pieces? I have enough.
It's going to be
I'm gonna sell them anyway. Ugh. There is an achievement in this game, in Flight Rising, where if you can get enough pieces to be able to play a full game of chess,
yeah.
then you get you get points.
Aw, that's cool. File. Say, export JPEG. Save. Okay. And we're done. What do you think?
That's so pretty.
I might actually, hang on.
What did that do?
I gave it just a slight blue, softer tone. See?
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, because I like to add effects,
Icons.
sort of. These are more kind of bubbles. I'm
Bubbles!
gonna create a very dreamy kind of. Okay, and then. Ta-da! What do you think?
Wow.
Just to make it a little more dreamy.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes. Alright. So, that's the version that we're gonna go with. File. Export. Nope! Cancel. No. File, export, JPEG. And save. Replace. Okay. And we're done. Alright, so that's gonna be our art stream for today. Thank you for joining me. I had a lot of fun going back and finishing something I've been meaning to finish for over a year now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We only really had one viewer, so
Which I think was us.
yeah.
To look at the.
Oh well, these things happen.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube, which is probably the case, remember to subscribe. If you're watching this on Twitch for some reason, remember to follow if you'd like to see more content like this. We do have a link to our Discord, probably somewhere below the video. You can click on that to leave suggestions for the next art stream. I may or may not follow them. It depends
Red
on
does put
how I'm
art in
feeling.
your face every Tuesday and Thursday at 3.
Yes, every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Unless otherwise noted by
Discord.
messages on Discord.
Yeah.
In which case, you should follow us on. You should. We have a link down in the bottom or below the video that connects you to our Discord.
Yes. Please join us
Come
for.
talk to us. We would love to have you.
Join us there for updates and announcements. Because I know I was supposed to have a Red Puts Art in Your Face like Tuesday, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, I wrecked my my wrist, and I was just not able to come up with any ideas for the stream, and also my wrist was killing me. So basically, I spent a day and a half icing it, or just resting it really. So thanks for joining me. I hope to see you guys again soon.